Salute everybody. I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Shocking news. Major computer outage worldwide. Yeah. Computer systems worldwide. A major outage. Biden has COVID. Yep. And also Trump won't back down. Now, what we're going to be doing in this demonstration, we're going to be going down the rabbit hole to find out what's behind the major computer outage. Who will it affect? Will it affect you? Will it affect me? Who exactly will it affect? And could it be a possible play? Could somebody be behind the scenes running this play? We're going to go deep down the rabbit hole with Biden and the COVID. Is COVID something that he been had? And we definitely got to chop it up about Trump. Y'all know how I feel. I stated from the beginning that I didn't think Trump was behind the actual assassination attempt. However, many of you were saying, Shane, it's a possibility that Trump is behind it. It's a possibility that it's staged. Well, I was talking to some other people offline that feels the same way. So we're going to be chopping it up about Trump. Was the assassination attempt fake? We're going to be chopping up with Biden. Could it have been that he been had COVID? And we also going to chop it up about the computers, the outage. Salute Michael. Michael says all by design. But before I get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this video that I call a demonstration is allegedly. It's all allegedly. All right. Salute Yummy Yums. Yum says, yes, my company was affected yesterday. We couldn't access anything. What do you think, Yummy? What do you think? Michael thinks it's all by design. Yummy, what do you think? Do you think that somebody's behind it? Or do you think that it's just a computer error, a mistake, something that just, just happens? We're going to go to some legal experts on this. And as always, after the legal experts give us their commentary, we're going to come and we're going to give our commentary. Salute 80s, baby. So let's get into the first part of this demonstration. The major computer outage. Let's go, Rock Squad.
Good morning, good to see you. You are coming on the air right now with breaking news. A massive global technical outage tied to CrowdStrike, which is a major cybersecurity provider, has knocked critical computer infrastructure offline all across the country and, in fact, all around the world. It's an issue with a software update. It's impacting lots and lots of Microsoft computer systems worldwide, from businesses to emergency services, 911, traffic lights, transit systems. And it's having a major impact on airlines as well. American, Delta, United, they're all keeping their flights grounded. You're looking at some live scenes from the airport. It is chaos again, 6 a.m. on the East Coast, and this is the scene now. They're having difficulty even printing any kind of boarding passes. This, of course, is a developing situation. The full scope of this problem remains to be seen. And Brian, as we get started right here in Studio 1A, we should point out computers at NBC News right here as we're getting on the air. We're trying to do some workarounds here to get on the air, but this is something that's affecting people worldwide.
Yeah, in other newsrooms, our partners over at Sky News having issues as well. I mean, this is impacting all different types of businesses. When you talk about airlines, you also talk about, just 911 services in some cases reporting outages as well. And you're even hearing of anecdotes of banks in other countries experiencing that. We don't yet have reporting of banks in the United States being impacted by this, but this appears to be not just in the United States, worldwide, and across different types of industries.
This definitely speaks to what I feel like is the fragility of the situation. It's like this is not a cyber attack. This is a computer kind of snafu that happened.
Yeah, and just to kind of walk you through exactly what's going on here. So this appears to be an issue between CrowdStrike and Microsoft. So CrowdStrike, for those that aren't familiar, is a cybersecurity firm that basically provides businesses with a way to foolproof their systems from being hacked. Now, apparently what happened was that CrowdStrike was working on some sort of update. We just heard from the CEO in the last few minutes describing this as not a security incident or cyber attack. So I'm going to repeat that again. It doesn't appear to be a cyber attack at issue here, but the reason why CrowdStrike is so instrumental to not just businesses here in the United States, but around the world is because any sort of business that hires CrowdStrike to basically foolproof their systems, well, they're going to be incorporating that into their computers. So if they get that, it's being plugged into Microsoft computers. If there's an issue with CrowdStrike, it takes down all of those Microsoft computers that are related to that. The company's saying Mac and Linux computers are not impacted, but again, this is very widespread.
Because I think what happened was a lot of people, this was happening in Australia, Europe, while we were all sleeping. We woke up and we were like, what's going on? But what people are finding is they're getting on their computers or at the bank or at the airline and they're seeing just a blue screen. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, well, the term for this is called the blue screen of death. And I don't know if we have examples that we can show on the screen right now, but we've been seeing it even in our newsrooms this morning. So
Yummy says definitely someone is behind it. But we've been saying this 15 years ago with Microsoft. And that's true, Yummy. Yummy says, why trust Microsoft with all that data? This doesn't sound good. It doesn't. It doesn't. You know? It doesn't, Yummy. I'm with you. It doesn't sound good at all. But we trusted it. We trusted it, so.
Basically, this blue screen that has this prompt that says, you're having issues and they're basically trying to figure out a workaround, but that essentially breaks your computer. You are unable to log in. Now, that's scary for any person that's just trying to log in.
Y'all heard that? It breaks your computer. You're unable to log in. 99.9 people around the world uses their phone, their computers. I mean, for the last 10 years, we've been living in the social media world. We've been living in the internet world. So just imagine if your computer is locked. We all know what we will be shut out of. I mean,
they're basically trying to figure out a workaround, but that essentially breaks your computer. You are unable to log in. Now, that's scary for any person that's just trying to log into their personal computer, although it's not clear if your personal computer has CrowdStrike, if it doesn't have that plugin or have that cybersecurity layer, you likely won't be affected because of the nature of what we understand this issue to be. But for all these enterprise companies, which is translation for corporate customers that use this protection, well, that's a major issue. If you can't log in, you can't print out the boarding passes to get people on their planes. You can't, as a bank teller, even get fired up to help open up someone's deposit account. This is a major issue. CrowdStrike says that they have an issue. They identified the issue, they isolated it, and there's a fix that has been deployed. How long that fix takes to basically patch over all this, we don't know, as it seems like anecdotes of these issues and outages are still out there.
And when you're thinking about it, like 911, all of these things, hospitals, like time of the essence when it comes to this. But you did bring up the airlines, and a lot of folks, I have a good friend who's on the way to the airport who's texting me saying, what's going on with all these flights? This is the scene at the airport, and we have NBC's Antonia Hilton. She joins us now. I think she is at Newark Airport. Antonia, what's the scene there?
Good morning. Well, passengers are arriving here to Newark to chaos, long lines, and intense frustrations. The kiosks are down, the computers are down, the boards where travelers typically go to find out what's going on with their delays and their cancellations, they're not updating properly. They're showing just a couple cancellations and delays, and passengers tell me that it's not reflective of what the staff tell them is actually happening. So we have tons of people who have been lining up, in some cases for hours, trying to get more information about their flights. And at times they've even gotten into fights with the staff here because they say this airline behind me here, Spirit, hasn't done enough to keep customers in the loop. They say they haven't received text messages, no updates through the app, that Spirit hasn't even yet posted a statement on their social media accounts like Twitter, the usual platforms that passengers would turn to in a moment like this. And so the emotions have, in some cases, really spilled over here. And some families have essentially just ditched the line. They're now moving aside, in some cases leaving the airport, convinced they might not get to leave on their flights at all today. What we know nationally right now, according to FlightAware, is that we have more than 500 cancellations and over 700 delays. If things don't start looking up soon, the guess from most of the people here at Newark, at least today, is that that could get worse, guys.
All right, Antonia, thank you. I think if you have your eye on what's going on in Europe, you kind of see what's going to be coming here as the sun rises.
Yeah.
We saw the chaos in the airports there. We're seeing it here. We see the situation with banks in Europe, and we're starting to figure out what that will look like here in this country as people wake up.
Yeah, and again, I think it depends on how quickly CrowdStrike can address this issue, which, as their statement says, they're trying to deploy this fix. How quickly they can do that, we don't know. One thing I want to emphasize is that we've seen 911 issues in New Hampshire. They've been reporting that. Whether or not it's tied to this remains to be seen. But for those that are unable to access 911, do not try to call 911 to test it. Try to figure out other avenues. Maybe try a different carrier, different type of phone to access them if you are in an emergency. Because yes, we're talking about people trying to get to flights, but there are many serious emergency issues as well that could be impacted by this. Just make sure that you're trying other avenues.
And quickly, again, they're saying this is a technical issue and not any kind of cyber attack.
This is not a security incident or cyber attack. That, according to George Kurtz, the CEO of CrowdStrike.
All right, let's see what happens. This day is going to unfold. Again, thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate it. This concludes our NBC News special report. We'll have a lot more on our streaming network.
Let's chop it up. What are y'all thoughts? I'll give my thoughts. It's with any situation, such as COVID. Y'all remember when COVID first hit? When COVID first hit, it was, don't be alarmed. The only people that can catch COVID is, the elderly. The young people don't have nothing to worry about. Only the elderly, can catch this disease, this virus, so forth and so forth. Y'all remember when COVID first came to town? And then young people started dropping from COVID. Everybody. It didn't make a difference if you was old. It didn't make a difference if you wasn't in good condition, because a lot of healthy people lost their lives to COVID. And 4 years later, I believe, COVID shook up the whole world. Remember, COVID just started with that. It was, about that small. Same way with most catastrophes and most ills and situations like this computer outage. Now, I'm no computer geek, but I do have common sense. We seen that the airlines, it affected the airlines. It affected, Yummy said she couldn't get into her bank account. Salute 80s, baby. So we got to really, really pay close attention, because something, I don't know what, maybe it's the second coming of Christ for my Christian family, maybe, but something, salute Tracy, something bigger is going on. And we're seeing this with this computer outage. Do y'all realize what can happen if this doesn't get fixed Do y'all realize what can happen? What we're on the edge of happening. Our lives. Because see, right now, it's just a few. It's just a few. Salute my boo, I see you. It's only affected only a few of us. But just like COVID, remember when COVID first came about, it was only affecting just a small percentage. And then it just spread and it started affecting the masses of people. I want to go to a legal expert. I heard him earlier today, and I really enjoyed his commentary on this. Y'all bear with me for a minute. He gave a real good commentary on it. Now, some people were asking, could they sue? Could anybody sue? And the way how he broke it down, I want y'all to check it out. No, that's not what I want. This might be it, y'all. This might be it. My bad. What are y'all thoughts? Let me know. All right, we're gonna stop with this. All right, this not the exactly one that I was looking for, but we're gonna see what they got to say. Salute, Miss Parker. Salute, Miss Parker. All right, let's check out what the Queen City has to say.
It will temporarily ground all planes while a technical issue is addressed. And that tech issue also impacting several other major airlines, banks, 911 call centers, and a wide range of important agencies around the world.
And the exact cause of this is linked to a technology issue involving Microsoft 365.
And cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. In the last hour, the company confirms this is not a security incident or a cyber attack, but there's still a lot of questions about exactly what is happening. Queen City News Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young joins us live from Charlotte Douglas. And Taylor, this is a problem and a scene playing out at airports from coast to coast.
Oh, absolutely, and Wyatt and Jason. I mean, it's absolutely chaos here. Usually, when we're talking about chaos at airports, we're talking about long lines. But right now, the scene here is just a lot of people standing around, many people seem to be walking in circles because they don't know exactly what's happening. I mean, we've had several people come up to us, the media, asking what's happening. We know that some people are showing up to the airport thinking that they're just going to walk through their checkpoint and board their flight. They had no idea that their flight was delayed or canceled. I did speak with a woman who was expecting to head out to Seattle in the next hour or 2 hours. Her flight has since been delayed twice. And I am going to step back to give you guys kind of a sense of what's happening here. Up here, as you can see, there are a lot of people just walking around, and below us on the bottom floor, it's almost a different scene. You see a lot of people just sitting around, sleeping, using their luggage as pillowcases. And we do know that, again, that this is impacting not just Charlotte Douglas International Airport, but airports and airlines across the entire world. We know that Delta, American, United have all requested ground stops with the FAA. And just looking at the flight board a couple of minutes ago, it shows about half of the departing flights have been delayed. There have been many that have been canceled, and we are anticipating, unfortunately, that more flights could be impacted by this. And we do want to pan over to a specific screen that is over the check-in counter. That blue screen that you can see right above those people's heads. This is being dubbed as the blue screen of death. It's popping up on computers across the world. Again, not just on computers here at airports, but we're also hearing that this is happening at businesses, at banks, potentially hospitals. Now, this does indicate that that system that all of these organizations and companies are using is offline. So again, there is a lot of confusion here. We know that people are a little frustrated because they feel that they didn't understand what was happening before they got to the airport today. They said they never got any text messages or alerts. So many people coming into Charlotte Douglas right now are learning that they could either be spending the day here, at least a couple of hours, until they figure out what's going to happen with their flight.
All right, Taylor Young, thank you for that. We will certainly be checking back in with you here shortly.
We have reached out to several major airlines for a statement. We did get a response here from American Airlines, which says, quote, earlier this morning, a technical issue with a vendor impacted multiple carriers, including American. As of 5 a.m. Eastern Time, we have been able to safely reestablish our operation. We apologize to our customers for the inconvenience. And we mentioned these issues aren't just impacting flights, but businesses as well.
And you may find out that it's difficult to access some bank accounts or even call 911 in some areas. And we're getting updates every minute just about.
Updates every minute. We're also learning that the White House is now aware of this. It's also in Beijing. They're having to manually enter in passengers' information to try to get them on flights here. If you can imagine how busy that is. And also, we have the Olympics coming up. We're also hearing that some of the storage equipment, things like that, are getting delayed as they're trying to sort through all this and get them on the flights to Paris in time for the Olympics. Now, the website Down Detector shows which major companies are seeing the most reported tech issues. You can see a major spike in reports from Bank of America customers and Truist customers. There's also a spike in 911.gov. We've also heard dozens of reports of hotel chains across the nation unable to check people into their rooms. Several governments worldwide say they are aware of the issue. In the last 90 minutes, in fact, Indian officials say they've identified the problem and they're working to try to fix it.
So we've got a couple things going on here. You've got CrowdStrike, that Austin-based company. They're saying...
Ms. Parker says this has never happened. So the question is, what's really going on? Ms. Parker says, it's time to wake up. That's facts, Ms. Parker.
This is not a cyber attack. This was a defect in an update. And you've also got Microsoft 365. Some of its features were not functioning as they wanted them to.
And the problem is it got that patch out there, but it takes time for a patch to install. Anybody who's been there, when your computer shuts down and has to put all that stuff in there, it's going to take a long time to get things back on track. But people, they got places to go.
Yeah, that's right. I just saw the city of Charlotte. So the city website is still down. Atrium Health, their internet is working, but their phones are down. So whatever service you typically use, one portion may not be working, but yet the phones may work. And for some, it's the opposite. So just check with whoever you use, whether you're traveling somewhere, if you use public transit, make sure that all those are working before you head out.
And know people are trying and working feverishly
Yes.
to get everything back up and running. So we will keep you posted.
What's really going on? What's really going on? My boo, what's really going on, y'all? As Ms. Parker says, this has never happened before. Are we paying attention to the time? Now, for the younger generation, are you paying attention to the time? For my older generation, y'all remember we grew up on reading books. We grew up on reading books. Drop a 1 in the chat if you like to read books. Hey, I had to read books because that was one part of my punishment. Of course, I would get a beating. I gotta do chores. I gotta write 100 times whatever it is that I done. And I also gotta read. I had to read the newspaper and I had to read books. So even when I was young, I was programmed to read. But when I got older, it was already in me. So I started reading history books. I started reading all kind of books. There's a particular book by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it's called Theology of Time. And it was all focusing on having us to study the time. How many of y'all remember that book? Also, in the Final Call newspaper, it was a column cut out. I got to go get a Final Call newspaper. But the theology of time as well. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was always putting our focus on the time. The time. Because for surely everything that's prophecy, the prophecies, everything that has been prophesied, surely it's coming. Now, what part of time do we understand? What part of time don't we understand? We don't want to just look at time as time. What time is it, Shank? 5:24. Okay. Shank, what time will it be in another 2 hours? 7:24. We don't want to focus on that time. We want to focus on the events that is happening right before our eyes. Why is it happening? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? For all my scholars out there, we all know that these things that is coming into play, these things has already been put in motion years ago. This is not a coincidence. Now for my new millenniums and for my new people, go to The Simpsons. Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if you watch The Simpsons. See, I'm going to make y'all do your homework. I'm going to make y'all do your homework. I'm not going to give y'all nothing free. Because I notice every time I give free game, y'all don't do nothing with it. Every time I give y'all free information, y'all look at me like I'm crazy and don't believe me anyway. So I ain't giving y'all nothing free no more. But y'all have to, if you haven't already been watching The Simpsons, and I'm sure most of y'all have, watch The Simpsons. Not only watch The Simpsons, go back. Y'all remember the old Star Trek movies? Star Trek was dropping. And when did Star Trek come out? The 60s? The 70s? Did y'all know that Star Trek, 50, 60 years ago, Star Trek was showing us what? Star Trek was showing us what is to come. Right? Go back. Where did they get the idea of being on an aircraft? Where did they get the idea of being on a spaceship? They had to get it from somewhere. Mr. Clark, I don't watch cartoons. See, they were putting hidden messages in the cartoons. and they're still putting hidden messages in the cartoons, right? But now let's come up a little bit from Star Trek, The Matrix. And I'm not going to give y'all no free game. I'm not going to give y'all nothing free from The Matrix. Everybody watch The Matrix. Men in Black. All of these movies that has been put in front of us years ago is irrelevant to what's going on today. It's what's going on today. I'm going to go to one more clip from the computer outage. Then we're going to move on to Biden having COVID. See, I could tell by the chat's participation with certain demonstrations. I could tell with certain participation on certain demonstrations. And that's all right. That's all right. But that's why I said I'm not going to give this to y'all for free. But y'all need to pay attention to this computer outage. And you heard what it said. It affected the banking system. It affected 911. It's going down. I just want y'all to know it's going down. All right, let's chop it up with this one. 80s Baby says, Bald man, you're telling me I have to watch cartoons to get educated on where the world is going. I ain't fooling with you, 80s Baby. All right. Let's go to another legal expert.
George Kurtz is apologizing for global disruptions, telling multiple media outlets that he is deeply sorry for the impact to customers, travelers, and anyone affected. And even though the issue has been identified and a fix has been deployed, businesses are still reeling from the fallout. Emergency services have been affected. Hospitals have had to delay procedure. 911 services have been disrupted in several states. Global travel has even seen flight cancellations and delays. Banks, retailers, and other businesses, they have also struggled with payment processing and error screens. Here with more on the significance of the incident, we've got Yahoo Finance's tech editor, Dan Halley. Dan, you've already got a story up about this, so we've all been monitoring it this morning here. What are the key takeaways that people need to be keeping in mind in the aftermath of this particular outage?
Yeah, Brad, I think for the average person, you and me, someone stuck at an airport right now, someone can't access their banking information, people who had doctor's appointments or hospital appointments, all of those being impacted. For the regular person, it's really just kind of buckle up. There's nothing that we can do. The CrowdStrike said that they deployed a fix, but it's not like you snap your finger and that fix immediately starts getting the systems up and running again. A lot of companies like to make sure that updates are compatible with their systems, or they want to check to make sure that they actually work well or won't cause further damage. And so it's not as though this is going to be hunky-dory immediately. I think the other thing to point out is, look, this is a natural consequence of what happens when we rely on so many small companies, a small number of companies rather, to basically power the internet's backbone. This is CrowdStrike is a major cybersecurity firm. They're very well regarded, but this was an update for Windows systems. And because Windows is so ubiquitous, because CrowdStrike is so ubiquitous, it just kind of cratered a huge swath of the internet. I mean, just looking at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital, they were canceling procedures that required anesthesia. 911 services in Alaska were out. Sky TV in the UK couldn't go live. Different government agencies were having issues across the board globally. And so, it just points to there's these individual points of failure that we have in these systems. And everyone's aware of it. It's not like this is, new to anyone. Like, oh gosh, look what just happened. How could this have happened? This is well established. Everybody is well aware of it. It's just a consequence of everybody being okay with that.
And so, is it likely that this is an event that triggers any regulatory action?
It's interesting, I mean, from a antitrust perspective of anything like that, I don't think that's an issue here. I think when you look at the cybersecurity agencies, though, they're definitely going to look at this. The government, obviously there's going to be different people in Congress who are going to pipe up with press releases of their own saying yada yada yada, how dare this, blah blah blah. They don't really know what any of this means anyway, so it's not going to be them. It's going to be the agencies that deal directly with this that are going to really kind of probably spearhead some kind of look at the points of failure here, and perhaps how companies can try to avoid something like this in the future. I think, really, again, it just comes down to how we've structured the internet at this point. It's a small group of companies that everybody relies on. It's homogenous, where it's not just one company here uses CrowdStrike or another company here uses. A lot of companies use CrowdStrike, and Windows is huge. It's the largest desktop operating system on the planet. And so when you mix those two, so many people using CrowdStrike, so many people using Windows, in this particular instance, this is just what happens. And so, I think really what it comes down to is, would regulators look at a means of preventing something like this, telling companies to have other forms of redundancies, something along those lines. It's honestly up in the air.
All I'm going to say is, and then we're going to move on to Biden having COVID. All I'm going to say is, people, wake up. Our world that we once knew is about to be shooken up. And we better be prepared and we better be ready, because it's been prophesied many, many years ago. For those that are in the new world, I call the new world social media. There was a time before social media that I call prehistoric time, when social media wasn't here. When social media wasn't here, of course, we lived different. There was a time when we didn't have cell phones. Yes. There was a time when we didn't have cell phones. The things that we have today, there was a time when we didn't have these things. And you might say, all right, Shank, but what do those times have to do with the times that we're living in? And I'm going to tell you exactly what those times has to do with the times that we're living in. Well, in those times, things were different. Those times, they were putting in motion, they were setting up what we have today. And most of the things that they were setting up that we have today was going against the grain, going against the way God made things to be. We're going to go to Biden having COVID. How many of y'all knew that Biden had COVID? Strong possibility, and I'm not green lighting it. I'm not making no excuse, but it's a possibility that he could have been had COVID, but just didn't know. How many of y'all think it's a play? First of all, let's stop. Let's go there. How many of y'all think that Biden don't have COVID? Drop a 1 if y'all think it's a play. Drop a 2 if you think he really got COVID. Jay says a play. Trump gets shot. Now Biden got COVID. Is somebody trying to play on our tops? Is somebody trying to play on our tops? Jay says kind of funny, huh? Rico Dub says definitely a play. I mean, what do y'all think about Trump? Drop a 1 if y'all think the assassination of Trump was a play. I see you, Uncle Charles. Salute, Uncle Charles. I see you. We get ready to get deep into Biden as well as Trump, y'all. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get to the bottom of this. All right, all right. Way too close for an accident, I would think. All right, y'all. They want him gone. You think they want him gone? Jay says they want him gone.
There is a now very public effort to pressure him out coming from the top echelons of Democrats. We're talking Schumer, Pelosi, Jeffries, etc. But Ryan, before we jump into that, just a reminder to all of you guys that Ryan just launched Dropsite News. I understand the launch has gone fantastic. There's been big support from the Breaking Points and Counterpoints universe, and you've got a discount going, right, Ryan?
Yes, for Breaking Points and Counterpoints viewers, you guys can get 20% off your subscriptions. That's what the journalism will remain free, but it's the subscriptions that make the investigative work possible. So it's dropsitenews.com/counterpoints. We'll put the link down there, but just go to that URL and you get 20% off your subscription. And thanks everybody for the support. The first week and a half, it's been really gratifying. And I think we're in liftoff. Like I think we're going to make it, and I think we're going to be around for a long time to come, doing a lot of damage on Earth.
I could not possibly disagree with that. So guys, go ahead and do that. Ryan and Jeremy have already broken some incredible stories just in the first, what are you, a week into this, a little more than a week into this, and already have made some major news. So it's definitely worth you guys giving your support if you're able. Let's go ahead and get to the news with regards to Biden. We'll put this tear sheet up on the screen. So he has tested positive for COVID-19. He's having to cancel events because of this diagnosis. We can also put this video up on the screen, just continuing to show how feeble he is at this point in his life. You can see there through the window him really having to be assisted, almost like lifted into the car. You can sort of make that out through the rain from the side here, see him being put in. And part of why this is so significant is because, let's go ahead and put the next piece up on the screen. This diagnosis is significant because it came right after news leaked that Biden had privately said he might quit the presidential race if
Let me ask y'all. Biden says he might quit presidential race if medical condition emerge. Do y'all think it would be best if he just go ahead and quit? My opinion, I've been saying it for the longest time, even if the medical condition doesn't emerge, even if he stays the same, I still say quit. And it has nothing to do, in my opinion, I wouldn't say it has nothing to do with, Trump being better than you, so forth. I would just say it's just smart, man. Why keep beating yourself? Dev says in his case just got dismissed. Rico says Biden is too weak to compete against Trump. Sitting it out a while for Biden will make him look better, and he won't be able to make all that silly mistakes while talking. He basically has dementia. Exactly. Salute positive vibes. Salute positive vibes. I feel you, Rico.
Medical condition emerged. Now, I don't know that COVID was the medical condition that he was referring to there, but this was in an interview with BET. He was asked, is there anything that you would look to you personally to say, if I see that, I will reevaluate? And Biden said, quote, if I had some medical condition that emerged, if doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem, Biden indicated that he would be receptive to getting out of the race. Ryan, we've got like a whole slew of Biden developments that we're going to get to, as I said.
Now the chat is starting to cook up. Cat Mom says Biden needs to quit. Uncle Charles says it makes no difference whether he quit or not. Kamala Harris is not going to beat Trump. I'ma tell you, Uncle Charles, she gonna give him a run for his money. And honestly, I think Kamala Harris will beat him, Uncle Charles. The chat is getting heated. Let's go, chat.
That you've got now Pelosi and Schumer really making more public their desires to push him out. You have him seemingly more open to the conversation. Not that he's saying he's going to get out, but he's not just like out and out ruling it out. What do you make of these most recent developments?
Well, he had also said that he would only take advice on this question from the Almighty.
Right.
So you can read into that what you want about the timing of this. Right after he says medical condition, I looked it up. The last time that he had COVID, he was in isolation for 16 days, which is what a CDC recommendation is like 5 minutes at this point. So 16 days when you have just a few days left of the entire presidential campaign, and this pushes you close to the Democratic National Convention, does put I think extra pressure, especially as Democrats are, and we're going to talk about this, getting much more public and vocal about the pressure that they're putting on him. And not just Democrats, not just the 2/3 of Democratic voters who say they want him to step down, but the most powerful Democrats, aside from the president in the country, are now telling him very directly and to his face exactly what the RNC crowd was chanting. Joe must go.
Yeah, it could have been Nancy Pelosi in the crowd leading those chants. Well, I mean, the COVID diagnosis, it kind of cuts both ways, doesn't it? Because on the one hand, it's another indication of like, hey, the Almighty might be sending you those signals, buddy. And also, listen, everybody gets sick. But, at his age, it once again raises the specter. Okay, this is a much more serious illness for someone at his age and in his, whatever his health condition is. But the COVID diagnosis also gives him an excuse to stop doing the interviews and appearances he's been doing that have not been going particularly well. We have a little bit of a mashup of his appearance at the NAACP, and this was put together. And you can see even on a teleprompter, he's struggling to complete sentences, finish his thoughts, and is completely oblivious to his own major policy announcement with regard to housing. He means to say at one point that he's going to cap rent increases at 5%. And he says he's going to cap rent at $55. So just, a horrific blunder, which in other conditions made you say, all right, well, he just screwed up once. But obviously this is not just a one-time screw up. Let's take a listen to a little bit of how this appearance went.
The only thing real in this video is that...
What y'all think? We get ready to go to his appearance. What do y'all think? Ryan Grimm is razor sharp. Dave said the election was 51-49. So basically with everyone seeing and finally understanding how bad these last 4 years were and are, I'm almost certain that America will vote Trump at least 60%. That's facts. That's facts. Bendito says Biden is stepping down. That's facts. I mean, and especially with the assassination attempt on Trump. I mean, come on, you know. Come on. All right, let's get back, y'all.
Let's take a listen to a little bit of how this appearance went.
I know you say, Joe, you may not have a Congress. Well, guess what? Y'all told me I couldn't pass the Inflation Reduction Act. Y'all told me I couldn't face it. Anyway, we did it. We're going to bring rents down, as I said. We're going to build 2 million affordable homes. The cap rent increases at 5% a year so corporate landlords can't. God. Anyway, I don't want to get going. I'm going to get very upset. But they're just gouging America. But by the way, not only saves lives, it will save taxpayers, just what I did on the first round on dealing with Medicare. It saves the taxpayer $160 billion because they don't have to pay these exorbitant prices to these anyway.
Did y'all hear what I heard? Did y'all see what I saw? Let that man retire. And that's facts. Let him retire.
The idea that corporate-owned housing is able to raise your rent $300-400 a month or something, under what I'm about to announce, they can't raise it more than $55.
I mean, you can just see the confused look on his face in that last part as he leans in. This is off the teleprompter, Ryan. This was the one thing we thought maybe he could still sort of like, stumble his way through.
It's, I just wanted to confirm this on my keyboard. The percentage sign is above the 5. Like, did some intern write 55 and forget to hit the shift key? And so it says 55. But if you're the president, you got to know your own policy. It makes no sense. Like, there's no Democratic policy that's going to say that rent can't go up by more than $55. Like, no matter what your rent already was. Like, if your rent is $100, it can still go up by 55. If it's 5,000, it goes. Come on, your mind has to be able to say, even if it was a typo on the teleprompter, your mind has to be like, oh, I know what my policy is. It's 5%.
Yeah.
It's a 5% increase.
As people who read off teleprompters sometimes, especially because we write our own stuff.
So obviously
we make mistakes when we write it. We gotta
place,
be aware enough when we're reading it to be like, wait a minute, that's not the shit that I meant to say.
Yes, exactly. You can't be like, oh well, guess the new policy is $55. I wish though that was the rule, that like whatever the president says goes.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, he said it and the crowd ratified it by cheering.
Done.
That's the new law. Done.
That's it.
Jim says dude doesn't know his policy because he doesn't write his policy. That's a good point, Jim.
It's happening.
Yes.
It's also interesting because just before the assassination attempt on Trump completely shifted the conversation and sort of put the Biden dropout conversation on hold, at least for a few days, you had reporting about this disastrous Zoom call that he had with this group of moderate Democrats. You can put this up on the screen because we now have the leaked audio. I knew it was going to come out. The leaked audio of this video. And he, in particular, goes after this Democratic representative, Jason Crow, who is a military veteran. And they say in this reporting, right before the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, a group of moderate Hill Democrats had a tense Zoom call to express concern.
I see you down there, Abdul. I see you, Abdul. Salute, Abdul.
According to one of the participants, they said the call was even worse than the debate. He was rambling. He'd start an answer and then lose his train of thought, then would just say, whatever. Sort of like that clip we just showed you where when his mind wanders off, he just says anyway to get out of the fact that he has no idea where his sentence is going. He really couldn't complete an answer. They go on to say, I lost a ton of respect for him. Another participant in the call confirmed that characterization. The president was rambling, dismissive of concerns, unable or unprepared to present a campaign strategy. Had a particularly troubling exchange with Jason Crow, saying to him, quote, tell me something you've never done with your bronze star like my son. this member of Congress told me, had the assassination attempt not occurred an hour later, I imagine 50 people on that Zoom were ready to come out publicly against him. And, you know, that comment to Jason Crow, to Congressman Crow, Ryan, it kind of has it all, because it's got this like tone of disrespect and belligerence, but is also a completely incoherent sentence.
Right, and it has the public has finally gotten to see what his ex-staffers have been saying about him.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to Trump. I mean, Biden, I could keep doing demonstrations on Biden, but it's like beating a dead horse. You know, it's like it's nothing left. You know, it's nothing left, you know, and I even stated it a couple demonstrations ago that I wasn't going to do any more Biden demonstrations. I mean, it's time to go. Abdul says, I'm thinking this is either phase 1 or 2 or World War III. It's here. It's here. And we cannot get out of it. World War III and whatever else is here, we can't get out of it. I like you trying to grow hair. Nah, I was sick. You know I was sick, so I ain't get a chance to shave. Jim says, fair enough, his lights are out. I mean, you feel me, Jim? It's like, let me talk about Trump. Let me talk about Kamala. Let me talk about Hillary. Let me talk about other people. It's just a lost cause with Biden. It's let the man just retire. Let the man just go ahead and, you know, it's like beating up on an old man. I feel like I'm beating up on an old man, you know. I'm not fooling with Abdul or Positive Vibes, but let's check out Trump. Now, what was it, a week ago, the assassination attempt? Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if you think Trump assassination attempt on Trump's life was fake. Drop a 1. Drop a 2 if you think it was real. Now, I'm going to drop a 2 because I think it was real. Drop a 1 if you think the assassination attempt on Trump's life was fake. Drop a 2 if you think it was real. Okay, we got some 2s. Okay. I think it was real. Now, who was behind it? I don't think my man just decided on his own. I think somebody was behind it. Positive Vibe says, to be honest, I don't know. I don't think dude at 20 years old, I don't think dude just woke up that morning and decided to, you know, I'm going to go and handle my business with Trump. Nah. Jim says, 2, that was a busted effort at keeping him safe at the very least. Abdul says, I don't know. It's signs it could be both. Positive says, to be honest, I don't know. Marty says Hillary. Let's tap into Trump. Let's listen to Trump, y'all. Let's listen to Trump. Now, this is allegedly Donald Trump speaks for the first time on the assassination attempt. Abdul says, I'm tired of politics altogether. It's a headache. That's facts. That's facts, Abdul. It's definitely a headache.
To the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Music was loudly playing and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily.
He still got his sense of humor, y'all. Let me backtrack. He still got his sense of humor.
Very strongly, powerfully, and happily. Because I was discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership. The numbers were absolutely amazing. In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did, they rushed to the stage. These are great people, at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was blood pouring everywhere, and yet, in a certain way, I felt very safe because I had God on my side. I felt that.
Salute Leslie. Salute Leslie. So Leslie says this man isn't it. Salute Leslie. Do y'all think it's real? Do y'all think it's fake? Drop a 1 if you think Donald Trump is being sincere from the heart. Drop a 2 if you think it's all staged. Drop a 1 if you think Donald Trump is being sincere from the heart. Drop a 2 if you think it's all staged.
The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together. The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets that were being fired, crowds run for the exits or stampede. but not in this case. It's very unusual.
One thing that I will say, especially when your life flashes in front of you, no matter how much of an evil person you are, no matter how miserable you are, no matter what type of person you are, when your life flashes in front of you, when you're in a situation like this, a situation like this can change the worstest person in the world. I will say that. Now, my opinion, I think that he's speaking from the heart. I think that he was, or I believe that the individual did try to take him out. And I think that he's being sincere from the heart right now. The dude almost lost his life. So I don't think that this is a play on Donald Trump's part. However, I'm going to backtrack. After we watch this, I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to play devil's advocate.
This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely, but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front. Nobody ran, and by not stampeding, many lives were saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed more than any other part of the body. For whatever reason, the doctors told me that, and I said, why is there so much blood? He said, it's the ears, they bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me, and you can see that love written all over their faces.
What are y'all thoughts? I see you, Trelane. What are y'all thoughts? I see you, Trelane. Was you against Trump before the assassination attempt? Did you really hate his guts? But then after the assassination attempt, you have a change of heart? Where are those that disliked Trump, hated Trump's guts, but after the assassination attempt, now they have some compassionate for Trump? Drop a 1 if that's you. Drop a 1 if you now have compassionate for Trump. Drop a 1. Marty says, I always like Trump. Rico says, if he did say that, you wouldn't have been the only one that knows about it. Salute, Trelane. I see you. Dre Sean, drop 1 all the way up to 0. Ella B says, always liked it. Trump. At first, I didn't like Trump. I'm be honest. At first, I didn't like Trump. But I started backtracking and I started, really taking my feelings out of him. And then I started to see, I'm going to tell you what really caught my attention about Trump. This is when I really started paying attention to Trump. The immigration laws. Trump was dead on it. That's just my perspective. Trump was dead on the immigration laws. Let's get back to Trump, though.
Bullets were flying over us, yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet used, took the assassin's life, took him out.
Now, I will say I disagreed with Trump's tweets. All the comments that he was making about females, I wasn't for none of that. Now, there were some things that I did disagree with Trump, and I still do disagree when it comes to Trump. Now, if he gets elected again, I'm not for that foolishness. Now, I got to keep it 100. If he gets elected again, somebody needs to give him an elbow and tell him, keep his damn mouth shut and stop using them damn tweets.
Supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be here. Thank you.
Appreciate the super chat, Trelane. Appreciate that super chat. I get it. I get it. He don't hold back and says what the people won't say or wanting to say. Jake says that's who he is. Yeah, but your character says a lot. Better to be a person who talks a lot than a person who is quiet and corrupt. I disagree, Jake. I disagree. Ella says I couldn't care less about his personality. I care about his policy. I disagree. I disagree, Ella, Jake, and Marty. Your character says a lot. And that's just my perspective. His rallies are a good time, though. I had a blast getting to know the people in line with me. Let's get back to Trump.
But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports over the last few days, many people say it was a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead.
I think Kamala will give Trump a run for his money. Now, will she make a better president than Trump? I don't know. It will all boil down to their debate. If if Trump and Kamala has a presidential debate, that would determine who I would vote for. I can't say Kamala will make a better president than Trump. I can't say Trump will make a better president than Kamala, but I think they both are neck and neck. Like she's his kryptonite, I believe, and I believe he's her kryptonite. I think they both would definitely be like a lion and a tiger in a cage. You don't know who's going to win. That's my opinion. Jake says, I agree, though I think Kamala could win. Ella says no. Jake says no. And I think that put them two in a cage, put Trump and Kamala in a cage, and hey, whoever come out, hey, that's who wins.
And there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight." Once my clenched fist went up, and it was high into the air, you've all seen that, the crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like No crowd I have ever heard before. Never heard anything like it. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me. Unbelievable. And seriously wounded. Two other great warriors, spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was. I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it, but we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3 million for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine, just called up, he sent me a check right here, I just got it, $1 million.
Trelane says Trump only wants to make the rich richer and doesn't care about the middle or lower class. Drop a 1 if y'all agree with Trelane. Drop a 1 if y'all agree with Trelane. Trelane says Trump only wants to make the rich richer and doesn't care about the middle or lower class. Drop a 2 if you disagree with Trelane. Drop a 1 if you agree with Trelane. Drop a 2 if you disagree.
From Dan Newland, thank you, Dan. And again, when speaking to the family, I told them, I said, well, I'm going to be sending you a lot of money, but it can't compensate. They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. The warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey.
Everybody throw up some prayer hands for Corey. Throw up some prayer hands in the chat for Corey, the firefighter that lost his life. Throw up some prayer hands.
There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others. This is the spirit that forged America in her darkest hours. And this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of human achievement and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined than ever. I am more determined than ever, and so are you. So is everybody on your side.
Now, let's talk Kamala and Trump. Let's talk Kamala and Trump, everybody. Make sure y'all hit the like button for me. If I could get everybody to hit the like button. If you haven't already hit the like button for me. Let's talk Kamala and Trump. If you think Trump is going to win over Kamala, type in Trump. If you think Kamala would win over Trump, type in Kamala. See, when it comes to the money part, y'all, and I understand and I get it, but if Trump is only to make the rich richer, we need to get rich. Y'all hear me? Because one thing's for sure now, if Trump becomes the president, as some of y'all say, he's going to make only his friends rich. He's only going to make the rich richer. Well, wouldn't it just make more sense if we line ourselves up? Trelane says she can't beat him. We need Michelle Obama. So, shit, let us get rich. So when he get in office, right, we rich. So whatever he put in motion is going to be for... See, we got to stop thinking, and I need everybody to listen to me. We got to stop thinking so poorly. We got to stop thinking like poor people. We got to stop thinking like middle-class people. You do know it's okay to be rich. It's okay. It's okay to be rich. There's nothing wrong with being rich. Now, it's what you do with your finances that makes the problem. Because I know some evil, miserable, poor people, right? So it's all upstairs. Now, I'll take a rich person that has compassionate, that has a good heart, that helps people, that has love in their heart. I'll take that rich person right there over a broke, busted, and disgusted man or woman. So we got to stop looking at it as, oh, they rich. Oh, they evil. Oh, they only think for themselves. Oh, they only about their money. We got to change our way of thinking, and we got to stop looking at this piece. We got to stop looking at life other than what it is. We're here, and we're here for different purposes. However, while we're here to help one another. We're here to love thy neighbor as we love ourselves. But we got to stop thinking that it's something wrong if you become rich. like, okay, well, money is the root of all evil. If money was the root of all evil, then why do we all work to get money? Well, not all of us, but why do most of us work to get money, to pay our bills? See, another misquote from the Bible, another misquote of words. Now, you got a lot of people running around here shunning those that do get money and make it like, oh, well, they get money and they rich. You know how them rich people is? All rich people ain't bad is what I'm trying to say. We just heard from the man of the hour, Trump. Let's listen to the woman of the hour, Kamala. I would love to see Trump and Kamala in a debate. I'm telling y'all, I would love to see them two in a debate. They both know what they talking about. They both know what they talking about. Appreciate that marshmallow. Appreciate that marshmallow. Spitfire says he can't deal with her. I think she's his match. I think Kamala Harris is Donald Trump's match. Let's check out the woman of the hour. We just heard from the man of the hour, Donald Trump. Let's check out the woman of the hour, Kamala Harris.
Good afternoon, North Carolina. Oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. And I want to thank Kelly for your work and for your family and all that you have given to our country in service. And it is so good to be back with so many incredible leaders, including my dear friend Roy Cooper.
I see you, DJ. I see you, DJ.
You know, Roy and I served together when I was Attorney General of California. He was Attorney General of North Carolina.
I see you, Breezy. I see you, Breezy. Drop a one. Where my Kamala Harris fans at? I still believe she's Donald Trump's kryptonite. I believe he's her kryptonite. I'll say it again. A lion and a tiger locked in the cage. Whoever comes out, that's who wins.
Him for almost 2 decades, and he is an extraordinary leader. And I want to also thank the extraordinary leaders who are our service members and their families who are here with us this afternoon. Thank you all. You know, one of my greatest honors as Vice President is to meet with our service members around the world. I have met with our service members from NATO's eastern flank to the Korean DMZ, and from Arizona to Florida. And I will tell you what everybody here knows, all our service members.
Building your online.
Damn thing. I mean, let's be honest, y'all. Let's be honest. No man, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, no man is capable of going up against Trump. Trump, he'll run circles around any man. Show me a man. Somebody show me a man Name a man that's capable of going up against Trump. There is none. There is no man that's capable of going up against Trump. It's only a woman. And it's her right here. Mark my words. Now, will she win? I don't know. I don't know. But if it's anybody that I'm going to put up against Trump, it's this lady right here. I see you, Breezy.
All our service members possess an extraordinary skill, discipline, dedication, and love of country. And I know their families serve with equal dedication, and I thank you also. And I say everywhere I go around the world, we are so proud that the United States military is the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. Which is why President Biden and I are proud to have passed the PAC Act, the largest expansion of health care and benefits for veterans and military families and survivors, the largest benefit in decades. So thank you again, everyone here.
I like Michelle. But I don't think Michelle would be time enough for Donald Trump. I don't. See, you got to understand politics, and you got to understand this game. Look at Donald Trump. Michelle would be too conservative. You can't go up against a guy like Trump being conservative, watching what you say, watching how you sit, watching how you dress. You can't go up against a Trump like that. You got to go up against a Trump with the same enthusiasm that he has. You got to go up against Trump, and you got to have that same confidence. You got to have that same I don't give a fuck attitude. Michelle don't got it. She probably would make a better president than Trump. I'm not saying she wouldn't make a better president than Trump. Michelle probably make a better president than all of them. But I'm talking about in a debate. I'm talking about in a brawl. You can't send anybody up against Trump. You can't. That's why I would put my money on Trump, because you can't play with Trump. Michelle would get in there and she would just be too bougie. I'm being honest with y'all. Michelle would be too bougie going up against Trump. Kamala gonna go in there. Kamala gonna take her earrings off. Kamala gonna let her hair lay down to the ground, if you know what I mean. Kamala gonna get down for the get down. That's the only way you gonna beat Trump. You need somebody that's gonna get down for the get down.
In particular, our military members and your families for the service and the dedication that you have shown. So today, we are 110 days out from the election. And while many of us have been involved with these elections for every 4 years practically, nearly every time we will say, this is the one. Well, this here is the one. The most existential, consequential, and important election of our lifetime. And there is so much at stake. Last night was the latest example. So some of you may have heard Donald Trump's running mate deliver remarks at the Republican National Convention. He talked about his life story about growing up in Southwest Ohio, and it was compelling. It's a compelling story. And it was not the full story. Frankly, what is very telling is what he did not talk about on that stage.
Appreciate that, Trelane. Appreciate that super chat. Trelane says, I don't think it's about bougie. You would see the difference in let me backtrack. I don't think it's about bougie. you would see the difference in intellect between Michelle and Trump and see she will clearly be a better president. You're right, Breezy. I see you. She speaks like she's talking. I see you're right, Trelane. But what I'm trying to say is the supporters, the reason why people, and my Trump supporters, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason why Trump has the supporters is because Trump got that I don't give a F attitude. He say what everybody else want to say. Trump is not bougie. I do believe she would make a better president than Trump and Kamala. But unfortunately, we in a brawl right now. I see you, Jennifer. I see you, Jennifer. Salute, Jennifer. I see you. I see you.
He did not talk about Project 2025. Their 900-page blueprint for a second Trump term. He did not talk about it because their plans are extreme and they are divisive. In recent days, they've been trying to portray themselves as the party of unity.
See, you could see Kamala. You could, at any given minute, Kamala, she'll get on one. At look at her. Just look at her. At any given minute, in other words, she could get ratchet. At any given minute. Look. Now, if it was like 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, you know, when Classy was in, when all of that played a major role, Michelle would win hands down. Because, like you said, Trelane, her intellect, her intelligence. So 10 years ago, Michelle would tear Trump up on the intellect part, being civilized, manners, things to that nature. But we are away from that time. Right now, we're in a brawl. Trump got it whereas though if you're not down for a brawl, it's going to be like, whoa. You know what I mean?
This is our latest hearing.
Goddamn commercials. But you're right, Trelane. And you're right. I'm not taking from you. Trelane is definitely right. Michelle would eat him up with the intelligence. Like Obama, you know. Now with Trump win, well, I know Obama couldn't run again. We're going to have to talk about that. We'll come back and talk about that. Trump and Obama, who would win? Who y'all think will win between Trump and Obama? If you think Trump would win, drop Trump. If you think Obama would win, drop Obama.
They are divisive. In recent days, they've been trying to portray themselves as the party of unity. But here's the thing. If you claim to stand for unity, you need to do more than just use the word.
I see you, Ronnie. I see you, Jen. I see you, Jen. I see you, Ronnie. I see you, Denithia, Michelle. I see y'all. See, look at her. See, listen to me. Listen to me. I want y'all to look at me when I tell y'all. Now, I do believe that Trump would probably make a better president than Kamala. Like I said, I first will have to see a presidential debate between them two. I think Trump will make a better president. However, and I want y'all to listen to me, I do believe that this lady right here, I do believe that that's Trump's kryptonite. I think if it's anybody to bring Trump down, I think if it's anybody to beat Trump, I think we're looking at her. I think we are looking at Trump's kryptonite. That's just my opinion, everybody.
You cannot claim you stand for unity if agenda that deprives whole groups of Americans of basic freedoms, opportunity, and dignity. You cannot claim you stand for unity if you are intent on taking reproductive freedoms from the people of America and the women of America. Trying to ban abortion nationwide as they do and restrict access to IVF and contraception.
I think Hillary, and this is my opinion, I think Hillary would have beat Trump, but Trump had those emails over Hillary's head. And I think that's the only reason why Hillary lost to Trump. Salute, Snapping Turtle. I see you. I see you. I see you. No, she's not for me. You're right, Shank. I need to see her in a debate because clearly Biden wasn't it at the last debate. Nah, Trelane. The Nithya says Obama, but he can't run again. I see you, y'all. I see y'all down there. I see y'all. I think Hillary would have beat him, but I'll say it again. Trump had those emails over Hillary, and that's why Hillary couldn't do nothing with Trump. Outside them emails, I think Hillary would have beat Trump.
As their plan calls for. You cannot claim to be for unity if you try to overturn a free and fair election and threaten to terminate the United States Constitution. And you cannot claim to be for unity when your entire economic agenda is designed to prioritize billionaires and big corporations over the middle class.
Let me come talk to y'all. Let me come talk to y'all. Cause I don't want, let me just come talk to y'all for a few. Trump, in my opinion, I don't think that, and y'all could disagree with me. It's no problem if you disagree with me. But if you disagree with me, please state your reason why. That's all I ask. If you disagree with me, just state your reason why. I just think that there's no man that I've seen, there's no man that can beat Trump. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Disagree and at least let me know why. I just don't see no man beating Trump. I only see it coming from a woman. I don't see no man that can defeat Trump. If you disagree, I'll accept it, but just help me understand if you disagree. What man can beat Trump? Agreed, Trelane, Snapping Turtle, if Michelle runs. Let me see. I agree with that statement. Elite now isn't Jake. I don't think Trump will lose to a man. I just don't see it happening. I agree with that. So are we on the same page? And once again, if you disagree, that's fine. That's what this platform is about. This platform is about opinions and different perspectives because I could be missing something. So if you disagree with me, then you may be able to put me up on something that I'm missing. Eplipro says that would be a good debate. Elite says let's all read it together. You know, is it any man? Is it anybody out there has a man? What about Kennedy? Somebody was mentioning Kennedy to me the last demonstration. Ronnie says I agree. Jake says Michelle has that same problem as Hillary. I agree with him. Michelle would not win. Jake, you need someone who has more grit. I mean, it's salute, Snapping Turtle. It's like a wild hyena. You can't go playing with that wild hyena. That's what Trump is. He gonna tear the fur off for you. And he gonna keep coming, and he gonna keep coming, and he gonna keep coming. He's a wild hyena. Pete I can't pronounce that, Breezy. Where he out of, Breezy? Give me some background on him, Breezy. Give me some background on Pete. Maybe I need to do my homework on Pete. The rest of the chat, how do y'all feel about Breezy's answer? The rest of the chat, how do y'all feel about Breezy's answer? I'm not sure who that Pete guy is. See, like, with the assassination attempt, now, some people say, Shank, it's a play. Some people say it's a play. But as y'all see, everything that's being thrown at Trump, whether he's innocent or guilty, everything that's being thrown at him, y'all see how he move? That says a lot now. That says a lot. It's like just when you think you got him. He reminds me of Tom Brady. He reminds me of a Tom Brady, a Michael Jordan. You know, y'all watch them New England Patriot games, and every game that a team will have Tom Brady in them. And you be like, yes. What always happens? You look at the eyes in Tom Brady's eyes, and before you know it, here he come. That's who Donald Trump puts me in the mind of. That's who he puts me in the image of, Brady. Breezy says he was supposed to be the Democrats' top candidate because he was cool, young, and then they realized that Ish wasn't going to work and threw Joe in his spot. Why aren't my comments showing up? There you go right there. I'll wait a few more minutes. Is there any man that can beat Donald Trump? I don't think so. I'm asking y'all, please disagree with me and then help me understand who. Jake says, Breezy, they have been throwing Pete's name for the last 18 months, but he can't win. Trelane, where you at, Trelane? What do you think, Trelane? Is it any man that can beat Trump? Where you at, Trelane? Is it any man that can beat Donald Trump? Dave says, no, he's been in politics for a long time. Breezy says, I don't think Pete is good, just adding it to the point that the Democrats don't have anyone that can compete with him. Dave says, he's certified and stank. Jake says, Pete is a weak candidate. He's young, the transportation secretary, but it's unpopular. Kason says, no man or woman. See, now that's where I disagree, Case, because I think Kamala. I think Kamala will give him a run. And I think that, like Trump had the emails over Hillary, I think that that's what Trump had over Hillary, those emails. I think those 34 felony charges, those 34 felony counts, I think that that's what Kamala will have over Trump. I don't think Trump could bob and weave out of that. Rent, gas, groceries are colorblind. Barry Sanders, we might as well leave Joe to go up against Trump before Barry. But I like Barry. Barry is too soft. Barry Sanders was too soft. Vivek, I can't pronounce that. Come on, E. You know I can't pronounce that. Vivek. Jake says, I think you overestimate Hillary. Ella B says, Hillary, extremely unpopular. So I think, and then another thing, not even the 34 felony counts. You know what Kamala gonna have over Trump's head? Kamala is going to have all those comments that Trump made against women, and also Kamala is going to have the abortion. That's where she's going to get Trump. Let's go back to Kamala, y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. It's Friday. Just bear with me for a little bit, y'all. Salute White Carlin. Salute White Carlin. I see you, White Carlin. Salute.
We're too busy watching what you're doing to hear what you're saying. And let us unpack that last point about the economy. This race can be boiled down to a single question. Who fights for you? Now we know whose side our President Joe Biden is on. He grew up in a middle-class family in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he has never forgotten where he came from. And I have been a first-hand witness. With every decision he makes in the Oval Office, he thinks about how it will impact working Americans. He understands everyday struggles because he has actually lived them. So friends, I say the contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is like night and day. But with the selection of his running mate this week, Donald Trump is also trying to distract people. He wants to direct attention away from his record.
Drop a one. Drop a one if y'all agree with her. She said Trump only wants to distract the people away from his record. Now, could that be for those that think Trump is running the play? Could that have been allegedly, because it's allegedly, if Trump is behind his own assassination attempt, could that be why? Jake says, I disagree with her. Kason says, I agree, Rico. She's done nothing for us. Jake says he isn't running a play. He is up. What are y'all thoughts? She's claiming that Trump only wants to distract the people. I see you, Trelane. Elite Gaming says she's just projecting. Trelane says they not hearing you, Breezy. He's not on our side. All right, let's get back to Kamala. Kamala says Trump only wants to distract us from his record.
And his Project 2025 plan to suggest that he and his running mate are going to prioritize the middle class.
Man.
If you're thinking of selling your home soon, you don't want to miss.
Hey. I ain't stopping it no more, y'all.
But we are not buying it. We are not falling for the okie doke. As many of you know, I am a former prosecutor. So I say, let's look at the facts, shall we?
I know I said I wasn't going to pause it again. She got a point. She's a former prosecutor, y'all. Trump going to have, listen to me now. Trump going to have his work cut out for him if this is who he's running against, y'all. She's a former prosecutor. Listen.
So Donald Trump tries to claim he brought back American manufacturing. The fact is, under Donald Trump, America lost tens of thousands of manufacturing jobs. and more than 1,000 factories closed under his watch. The facts. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden and I have created nearly 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. So much so it's been described as a manufacturing boom. Last night, we heard claims that Donald Trump is for fighting for our seniors. Well, how the heck can you claim you fight for seniors when you intend to cut Social Security and Medicare? Which we all know is a lifeline for so many of our seniors. Let me be very clear. President Joe Biden and I will always protect Social Security, and we will always protect Medicare. All while we continue to fight to lower the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors. It is President Biden and I that took on Big Pharma and finally capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month. Who here has a family member with diabetes to know what that means? Right. But Donald Trump and his running mate intend to get rid of our $35 cap on insulin. They will side with Big Pharma and let them make prescription drugs more expensive. Not only that, on the issue of health care, they intend to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. Donald Trump and his allies tried more than 60 times to end the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. To give insurance companies back the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Y'all remember what that was like? Children with asthma? Women who had survived breast cancer? Grandparents with diabetes? President Biden and I, on the other hand, have made the Affordable Care Act more strong. Because you see, we believe health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it.
I see you, Dana J. I see you. Salute, Dana J. What do y'all think? I'm telling y'all, as it stands, I'm going to still vote for Trump. However, if Kamala runs against Trump, I want to see the presidential debate between Kamala and Trump, and that will determine. I'll say it again. She's time enough for Trump, y'all.
Pull up the split screen. Whereas the last administration gave tax cuts to billionaires, we gave tax cuts to families through the child tax credit, which cut child poverty in America by half. And please do note, their Project 2025 agenda would even end Head Start. To take away preschool from hundreds of thousands of our children. On the issue of the cost of living, Donald Trump says he will implement a 10% tariff on all imported goods. Well, understand, independent economists agree his tariffs would increase the cost of everyday expenses for families, the cost of gas, groceries, and clothing.
Fentanyl is poisoning.
God damn it. I don't know why they keep sending me these damn commercials. Let's get through these commercials, y'all. We almost out of here, y'all. We almost out of here.
We, on the other hand, have taken on big pharma, the big banks, and big corporations to bring down costs. It is we who have canceled debt, including student loan debt. In fact, testify if you have received it. Indeed. In fact, so far we have forgiven student loan debt for nearly 5 million Americans. And twice as much for our public servants, including our teachers, our nurses, and our firefighters. You're welcome. We are also fighting to lower energy costs. We made historic investments in clean energy. Today, America has record energy production, and we are energy independent. But Trump wants to roll back our progress. Check this out. In fundraisers,
Trelane says, I'll give it to her about the student loan debt. They did their thing with that. Won a lot of the student loans were forgiven under their attention. Salute, beautiful. I see you, beautiful. 3 more seconds, y'all, and then we're going to get out of here.
with big oil lobbyists, he
Salute, Suntan. I see you, Suntan. Salute.
wanted to trade clean energy investments that we made for you for a $1 billion campaign contribution he could get for himself. Understand motivation. So North Carolina, I think it is clear. If Donald Trump were to win in November, he will continue to sell out working families. He will continue to attack reproductive freedom, and he will continue to undermine our democracy. Ultimately, in this election, we each face a question. And herein lies our power. The question we face is, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law? Or a country of chaos, fear, and hate? We each have the power to answer this question. So today, then, I ask North Carolina, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
We're going to stop right there before we get out of here. What kind of country do you want? What kind of America do you want? It's right there, everybody. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. This is going to be my first time voting. For those that are new over here, this is going to be my first time voting. I've never voted. This is going to be my first time voting. As of now, I'm voting for Trump. As of now, I'm voting for Trump. If Biden is smart, Biden will step down and let Vice President run. If Kamala runs, depending on the presidential debate between her and Trump, I like Trump. I like his policies. There's some things that I disagree, of course. You know, I like Kamala. There's some things that I disagree with her. It is what it is. No matter who becomes president, is the good, you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look, it is what it is. My man, Trelane says he voting for Shankrock. Now, do y'all really want me to run? Now, if y'all, I'll run. I'll run. But y'all got to be with me now when I run. Y'all got to be with me. I'll run. And we all can get money. We all can get rich. But like I was saying, y'all, I'm not Democrat nor Republican, nor conservative, liberal, none of that. I've never voted. I'm going to vote this time. Right now, I'm going to vote for Trump. I don't think that there's no man that can beat Trump. I just don't. I think if it's somebody that's going to beat Trump, it's going to have to be a woman. And I think that Kamala, if she doesn't beat him, I think she'll give him a damn good run. Make sure everybody hit the like button. It's very important that the likes get up. Once the likes get to 100, YouTube pushes this demonstration into the algorithm. So if you haven't already hit the like button, let me get y'all to hit the like button. And I'll see everybody back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do one. We're going to get busy at 4. All right? We're going to try to do 2 demonstrations tomorrow. Appreciate that, Ella-B. Appreciate that, Ella-B. Appreciate everybody that hit the like button. And appreciate everybody that subscribed to the channel. You're welcome over here, regardless of your race, religion, sexual gender. None of that matters to me. You're welcome here. Your opinion is welcome. Your perspective is welcome. You can disagree with me. That's fine. That's fine. You don't have to agree with everything that I said. Appreciate that, Jake. Appreciate that, Jake. I just asked for one thing. While you're here in the chat, please don't use no profanity. Please don't use no curse words, no cuss words. Please, no profanity. Please, y'all can have a civilized conversation in the chat. Please don't start calling each other names. And, let's use this platform to be civilized. Let's use this platform for us all to be able to come, to be able to voice our opinions. Appreciate that, K-Song. Appreciate that, Marshmallow. Appreciate y'all, Elite. So I'll see everybody back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Salute, everybody.